Stories from the longest night.
Brannon, man, it's good to see you, dude.
Good to see you too, man. It's a little bit different time.
Yeah, it is. It's a much different time.
According to my children, they're counting the hours. We're like, I don't know, like 36 hours away from Christmas. So, it's a different time. 36 hours from Christmas on an afternoon with two of our favorite dudes ever. This episode's gonna be amazing. This one's going down in the record books.
I hope so, man.
Gear up, audience, because it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually we normally record on Mondays, in the mornings for a couple of hours, and then we kind of put the podcast out. And you did that. You actually covered me because of the event that we had just on from Sunday into Monday. That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. But you didn't go all the way to the top, so you kind of covered me because I was just so sleep deprived. I don't think I would have been any good anyway. So you did our normal episodes, but we were just all kind of feeling so much of, like, pun intended, the burn from this weekend that we wanted to get on and do a special episode, and so that's what we're here to do.
So Tyler, let's dive in. We have Chase and McCall with us today. I'm gonna turn it over to Chase for just a minute to give us some context as to what we're actually talking about and what actually happened. So Chase, fill us in.
First, I just want to go ahead and acknowledge that Tyler and Brannon are wearing the Christmas colors. It's like you coordinated your shirts
I'll
to
go
make sure.
green, you go red. Oh, Brandon's even wearing his shirt for anyone who's on YouTube.
Jolly AF.
With a
That's
picture of
right.
Santa.
King of Jingling right here.
If you didn't know, this is his favorite time of year.
Yes, yes, it is.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, I'm excited to be here with you guys. I We just got done with this very unique event. We've never hosted it before. This Signal Fire plus Winter Solstice. I know if you're listening, probably some of you either were attending or had heard about it. We sent out some messaging around it, but um, it was amazing. It was just give a little more context. The idea was let's hold a fire on top of a mountain from sunset to sunrise over the longest night and maintain that fire and just see what the experience yields. There, for me, and I don't know what you guys can speak to this yourselves, but I didn't really know what was in store. I knew it was going to be a lot of suffering, a lot of cold weather. The wind blew literally the entire night. You're up on exposed rock and in a pretty high, cool, chilly place. We kind of scored not having snow and other torrential weather that could have happened, but um, all of the things that I did anticipate, they were there, but there was so much more that I did not anticipate. And those are the things that I think that's part of why I personally am drawn to experiences because you don't know what you're going to get. Like you can set something up and you think it's going to go one way, and then boom, all of a sudden, other people show up or other personalities or people sharing certain stories or somebody bringing their favorite snack and it's something you've never had. Yeah,
Chase, can we back up just a little and just explain or help the audience understand? You're kind of explaining the what, but what
yeah.
was the intent? Like to give us the why.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about hope. Um, the work that the four of us are engaged in, we see a lot of people that come to us and they are broken. They feel shattered, pieces everywhere. And a lot of the time, I know you guys get this, they don't feel like there's a way to put it back together. They don't feel uh, like it's worth the effort, like it'll actually pay off, like they could experience something more than just okay. Like maybe I'll get back to something like together, but to be able to do something like this event where we're focused on such a deep symbol, darkness, like dark, 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 longest amount of dark all year, longest amount of dark. Um, and not just that, but the beauty at the beginning and the end, like being able to have endured the night and seen beauty inside of the night. Like that was something that struck me, seeing the beauty inside of the night and then seeing that sun come up the next morning. I mean, all those symbols, if you can't see an obvious metaphor here, like I don't know how else to feed that. It was so beautiful, so impactful, and more than that, it we did this with the intention of it feeling like a communal process, a community experience. It wasn't just McCall went up a mountain and did this thing on his own, or B down at your place or something like that. Like everything was an invitation for people to come and share this experience and to share themselves inside of it. So for me, it was all about the hope sharing aspect and feeling like, no, I can relate to these people. Like I've suffered, so has he, so has she. And I've got a thing that I'm a burden I'm carrying right now. So does he, so does she. And that just felt so good. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, so we kind of wanted to come together just because of what took place. I think all of us have slightly different angles on the event and what it meant to us, and particularly some of the stories that we experienced as part of our experience. And we were kind of thinking that maybe other people who attended might have similar things too. So we wanted to just share some of those things. Before we jump into it, Sunrise was just sharing some of the stats, and we figure that over the course of the night, we had 32 people that made it up to the actual fire,
Which was a hard hike.
which was like really hard hike.
Yeah.
Like even for
It's
people.
ridiculous hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had 32 people make the choice on a cold night to make that hike to come be a part of it.
In the middle of the night, in the middle of the winter.
And then we had how many people join us via Zoom? Over 100 people join
Over
us on
100.
Zoom.
Yeah.
And
Incredible.
throughout the night. So we figure that there was at least 150 people that participated in some fashion throughout the night in whatever capacity they could or they chose to. And I think every single person probably had their own experience. So we're just going to share some of ours, and maybe they line up with some of yours if you're listening. And if you weren't there, hopefully you'll be able to feel some of the same things that we were feeling in this. That's why we want to do it, is we want to share it with everyone that we can, because it was meaningful to us.
Yeah.
One of the things that I wanted to ask McCall about specifically, McCall, you were there on top of the mountain when we lit the fire.
Mhm.
What was that experience like for you?
There was an incredible feeling that kind of came across me. And I think part of the reason why was we're lighting the fire. And if I'm going to be honest, it took a lot longer than I thought it was going to like actually catch.
And we
Like
had a torch.
we're just like waiting
Are you
as
not an Eagle Scout, McCall?
apparently, even if I am, I'm not a good enough one. And yeah, Nate's got this torch, Teddy, and he's just like blasting away. And it took a minute, but as that's going and it's starting to light up, something really incredible happened that to me was a gift from God. And that is the sun ducked behind this like cloud cover and gave us the most incredible sunset. And the colors of the sunset matched the colors of the fire. And to just watch that kind of ignite and dance, it was just here's something seemingly small. It's a fire and the sun going down, something that's common, but it was beautiful. And it was just a simple little reminder to me that even knowing what we were going to go into in this darkest night and the length of time that that was going to take, that there's still beauty and goodness that can come from like those hardships, those trials.
One of the ideas, McCall, that I love that you're hitting on this. Like, it kind of felt like we lit our fire and then God lit his fire. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
we got this image pulled up, and you can see just how brilliant the sky was. And in addition to that, not just where the colors are brightest and it's that orange that mimics each other, but there's also a ton of gray and gloominess and dark and brown and dreary. Um,
Mhm.
and it was just the perfect call and response of, hey God, we're really trying to show up and do this thing and maybe make a difference in helping someone carry their burden tonight. Like, please show us your hand, and boom, across the way, there it is. And this, yeah, that was profound to me as well. Yeah.
And I think too, the other thing that struck me about all that was just the fact that it'd been so gloomy and kind of rainy and whatnot for quite a while now that I normally am trying to pay attention to the sunrises and the sunsets now. And I actually don't remember the last time we really saw a sunset just because of all the rain and things that we've been getting up in Cache Valley. So it was a nice, like, poignant, like, hey, I'm here from God.
Watching it, I wasn't there. I was actually watching it on the Zoom feed, and it it was still spectacular. And watching it go, there was another part that happened as you guys were lighting it. It took longer than I expected it to as well. And I was like, I'm sure you guys are like panicking, like this is supposed to look cool, like light it up like a signal fire, like. And it was just kind of like slowly building, but you could see that it was catching. And then as it started to catch, then it really started to go. And something that was cool watching it on Zoom is right at the angle where you guys had put the camera, somehow the way you set the trees in there, as it lit up, there was in the shape of a giant heart facing the camera. It was like this flaming heart that was there before the wood finally got consumed and then turned into like the full fire. And I
Yeah,
think
we
some
we planned that. We totally planned
It's
that.
definitely
some
planned.
people on Zoom were talking about that, and I was like, that was maybe for some people its own form of a kind of a little, I call them God winks, where like, hey, I'm here, and now there's all of a sudden this like, it kind of to me symbolized the whole energy of what we were trying to create throughout the night, and I felt that on my own for sure at multiple different points in the night. Um, and I think something that's cool is that all of us kind of had a different take on this because we had a different experience even throughout the night, where Brannon and I were at a family party and then left, and I went one place to go climb to the top, and Brannon went to another place to go join another fire. You guys all had your experience with being up there way before the fire even got lit, getting things ready. And I'd love to hear, I'd love to hear kind of how those things all kind of came together for us to be in different places, but to have a same kind of energy at the end of it all.
Well, we made trips leading up to the signal fire. We made trips up the mountain to prep. Like, that wood wasn't just laying around and you just pile it on easy. Tyler, you made trips up there. Your daughter made trips. McCall made a trip literally the day before, and took a friend up there. There was a lot of work that went into the cutting and finding of deadfall, and I mean, it's pretty rocky up there, so you're hauling this thing after having hiked an incredibly challenging steep hike. You're up there doing more work and labor, and um, for me, there were points where I was so physically exhausted from having done just that side of things, stockpiling our wood. I would sit down and just kind of look at. I don't know if you ever felt this, but I would think, well, what the hell am I doing? Like, why am I not like down hanging out with my daughter or my kids or something? Like, I'm up on a mountain just chopping wood and piling it. Like, what is the point of all this? But then I also had one singular experience when I was up there by myself, sitting down and just sitting down and just envisioning what this could be like. And I felt God's presence. press me like, hey, this is for a purpose. This isn't just some whimsical idea. This was something that we were given, and that the work that we put into it made a difference. So I felt that beforehand, like, hey, this is all going to be for something, and that was pretty exciting to me.
Can I mention something about like I think what it's for a little bit? What you're talking about, Chase, is it's really cool to me and interesting to me that Chase comes up with this harebrained idea. Now I'm going to talk about harebrained idea in a second, but Chase comes up with this idea, right? And next thing you know, you got a guy like McCall hiking straight up a mountain more than once, staying up there all night long, feeding the fire, and just all in. And I showed up, and what do you know? Like there's the wandering aerator, like right there. I'm just, and Terrell and Sarge show up, and then there's Chris and Ed, and like, and I know Pyro's a part of it, right? So it's like, I just know these dudes are in, like, they're brothers, um, and they're just community. To me, it's beyond community, and to watch. I know, Chase, that you had this idea, and I give you all the credit in many ways, and I know you don't want that.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, but to also, like, you, like a fire, you lit the spark, but then the flames burned, because of everybody else and adding wood to the fire together collectively. Um, and I just think I just left feeling so much love and so much community for all the men and women that participated.
Hmm. Um, McCall, do you remember what phrase you used? I think it was like the week before. You had a phrase that if we build it,
They will come.
they will come. You're stealing from Field of Dreams, but
Yeah.
that idea. You know, Brannon, to your point, we had a roster of who we thought we might see. People sign up so we can kind of anticipate if we're bringing extra waters and snacks and chairs and pads, whatever else. We had people that weren't on the roster show up. Um, One of them started hiking at 12 midnight with
Wow.
his son, with his like 13-year-old son. Um, he, I'm starting to feel something around this. He was driving in from out of town with his kids, and they saw the fire from Tree Mountain as they're coming around. And he said, I'm going up there. Like, we're going up there.
That's
He had no
amazing.
intention of me. He was just going to go home, go to sleep. It's late. But he rallied one of his boys and said, "Hey, let's go to the top." Um, we had another guy just show up. We thought, well, this is probably everybody. We had another guy just show up. He just kind of walks in, and we're like, "What the hell, Simba? What is how is Simba showed up?" And no,
Did
he
he
didn't
tell
tell anybody he
you?
was coming. He just showed up, and we asked him like, "Hey, what was that about?" He said, "Yeah, it was hey, out by my house. I was walked outside for a second, and I saw it, and I was like, I need to be up there." And so he did. He grabbed his pack, and he took every step he made. He got his ass up there.
That's
Do you know
awesome.
what's awesome about that though? He shows up like as if he just left straight from his house. He's in like slacks and a
He's still in
button-up shirt.
slacks and I swear loafers. I swear.
And it's like, what the heck, dude? And it's like he just, I need to be up there. And he turned around and just came.
We had a lady that came, and granted, there's a bunch of dudes up there. This wasn't meant to be a dude only thing. We did have a handful of women. I think we had 5 women
Yeah.
end up participating, and one of them, she came up, hiked by herself, hunkered down, exposed wind the whole time. She's sitting there, got her jacket on. She's probably 15 feet away from the fire, just getting ash on her the whole night. And around 4 a.m., she's like, "Well, I got to go to work. She got up and she hiked down the mountain. She went to work. And to me, it's like there's something about that type of engagement when somebody's like, I feel drawn towards this, and I'm gonna clear the way. There's obstacles. I'm gonna clear the way, and I'm gonna get up there. And I feel that so much, even in just the work that B. I don't know if you remember when we were starting to do these retreats. The very first retreat, you were like, "Hey, do you think you could hook up some of these presentations for us?" And for me, that was like me seeing the fire and being like, I feel I want to walk towards that fire. I don't know what's going to happen up there, but I want to.
Mhm.
I'm walking towards there.
Mhm.
And we started to have that, and that to me is such a cool metaphor. You have a fire, people gravitate towards it. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to bring up and maybe shift gears just a little bit if you don't mind. Like the such a big part of it for me. Oh, by the way, I got to mention Spoons too. Like talk about a humble dude, just man in the base camp. Like he's just taking care of it, you know. But anyways, um the was were the presenters, and I was really surprised um by the feel of community. I mean, I work on Zoom all day. I get it. Like Zoom works. We love it. Um but just the feel of community, like I saw people just like sitting by fires, and then person after person that came on just was so humble, and the message that they shared was so good. And I don't know how much content there was throughout the night, Chase, but there seemed to be a lot.
Yeah,
Um,
I think we had maybe 15 people come participate. Some of them, a majority prepared a message.
yeah, and I was wondering about the technology up there. I was grateful that you were up there, Chase, to figure it out, and Tyler wasn't trying to figure it out. But it's pretty cool that you're on that mountain and I'm down by the fire somewhere else, and then people all across the world, all across the country, are looking at the fire and listening to these messages. And what were some of the things that stood out in the messages for you guys?
Brannon, if I could just tell a quick story with this, because the messaging was really poignant for me. But it goes along with your first point about that idea of the collective energy. We put on this event as a symbol of, hey, we are the light here, whether you see us or not. We're going to put in the time and effort to be here for you in your darkest night. And when we got in the car to drive home from the family party, I put the signal fire on the audio of our car as we were driving, and my daughters were all on their own Zoom feeds watching it. And I had previously invited everyone in my family to come and be a part of it. Specifically, Lexi, my daughter, said, "Yes, Dad, I want to share something." But the other ones hadn't shown a ton of interest. And so as we're driving up there, I think the first message was from Nate that we caught. We caught it right when Nate started talking, and he started talking just so vulnerably about his own experience. And I was like, holy cow, like he's going there. He's going for it. And then it goes silent in my car. And that kind of hushed feeling that comes when it gets like vulnerable. And like my car went that way. And then Diana came on and shared the Silent Night song, and so tenderly and so vulnerably shared like some of her story. And then that beautiful music was echoing through my car. And then I hear it from the back row. I hear my two daughters watching it on the Zoom feed, and they're like, oh my gosh, look at all the people crying right now. Like, holy cow, like there's people weeping openly right now. And I was like, I feel like weeping openly. And then I think Joe comes on and shares his like the poem he's written about his life and his journey. And it like lit a fire inside of our whole car. And by the time we got home, I had planned on dropping off the kids, grabbing my hiking boots, getting in the car, driving up to the mountain and coming up by myself. Lexi was going to stay at home. And Brinley, my third daughter of all people, who's the one who least likes to go hiking with me, we parked the car and she's like, hey, get your stuff, guys. And I'm like, what do you mean get your stuff? She's like, we're going to the top of that mountain. We got to go up there. And then she's like, and I don't want to be in the way. And then Maddie said the same thing. I don't want to be in the way, but I want to participate. Like if there's room for me, I have some things I'd like to share and say. And and I know it was probably a little bit too much of the Tyler Patrick family show by the end of it, but for me, the gift that was given was we went up to set the signal fire for others, and what the presenters did is they provided a space to light the fire in my own family. And it was like this reciprocal energy that I felt was going on where I wanted to offer more, and I could feel people through screens across the country wanting to participate and offer back. And and I feel like we were more enriched than even what we maybe gave. I know I was through the whole experience because of the messaging and the willingness to, so like you said, Brannon, humbly and tenderly share such vulnerability. What a gift. It was truly a gift.
Mhm.
I don't know if you saw it, Tyler, but when your girls went, and but by the way, when they shared, it was so vulnerable. The just the energy around the fire that I was at was just like I would say almost sacred, just really tender. And but the on Zoom, the hearts that just started popping off
Mhm.
as they would speak, just like you could actually see the love, right?
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah. It was really beautiful. It was a cool thing to see. And it's the kind of thing where I'm like, I my daughters are now catching the vision that I've always had, not from me.
Mhm.
They're catching it from other people who are living the vision. And like how awesome is that? What a gift. So
The one of the conversations that was had up top was how light begets light. Like it's just you do some good and it creates a ripple. Somebody else does some good and it creates a ripple, and you can feel that. And I mean, it was amazing to me from the beginning to the end. Those messages, it felt like somebody like had a fire going and dumped their fuel on top, and then another person came and did the same, another person, and it was just a roaring inferno by the time we were all done. And I do think there's something about that intentionality to go deeper. You guys, this is probably the specialty actually of what we do is go deeper. Like, can we go deeper? Is there something underneath that we could share that's appropriate? And everybody that got on it just kept on going layer, layer, layer. Um, I It was kind of a funny thing at first. We had a teenage boy that had hiked up with his dad, and that was super cool. And he was on the Zoom call, and his mom was on the Zoom call watching. And McCall was like, "Hey, say hi to your mom." He was like, "Hey, mom!" Like got on the thing, and a surprise to me was that my mom was on the call. And I didn't know that she had the link or knew what was going on. And for me to be able to get on, like, hey, mom, just kind of joking around. But I had it was really sweet at the very end of kind of the planned presenters. We opened it up and said, hey, anybody, if you're feeling something, there's something on your heart and you'd like to share, please do. She is typically a person that sits back row and doesn't want to get in the way, doesn't want to trouble any waters, doesn't want to be seen. And she unmuted and said, "Hey, I've got something I want to share." And she opened up and she shared herself in a way that I haven't seen my mom do that literally my entire life. And it's amazing to me what can happen when people like vulnerability breeds connection.
Mhm.
McCall, I'm kind of wondering,
Um,
to Brannon's question, like, what were your kind of key takeaways or some of the pivotal moments for you in the experience?
there was a lot, but the two that are coming to my mind right now, the first one is actually Brinley. And I think part of the reason for that is because as she was talking about some of the things that she struggled with, my daughter came to my mind. My daughter is 13 now, And she's already expressed like concern about her body. She's already expressed concern about not liking her body. And to see like the process that like Brinley is going through and the courage that she showed to share some of the things that she did was just incredible. And it reminded me like I need to make sure that I keep that in my mind so that is whether it's through me or through someone else that I can do whatever it is that I can to help her to try to work through that process to be okay with what her body is and what it looks like and not just be okay but actually just thrive. And so that was one. And on that note, I did meet with someone today that was there and participating, and he's an editor. And I wanted to make sure I let you know, and now's as good a time as any. He said that she is incredible at writing. Like the way that she was able to portray a message so clear and so precise, he was impressed. He was like, I don't know that I would change much of it. Um, the other thing was actually this morning, and it's this aftermath impact. I meet every Tuesday morning with two women from the internal family systems training that I do for like consultation and that kind of thing. And I told them about it last week and they asked how it went. And I was telling them about it. And one of them started crying about the impact and about the love that she was feeling and the jealousy that she didn't participate. And it was just incredible to me that something impacted her in such a way that I she will probably be up on the mountain next year. And I love that. Get that impact and that vision out to other people and get that change moving.
It's beautiful, McCall. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
It's so crazy how powerful the story can be when stories are told properly. And so you have this experience and then you get to go share that story and somebody who wasn't even there can still taste of it a little bit and go like, "Oh, like there's a longing in my soul for that kind of stuff." Right? And I think that's what I witnessed here too is there's a longing in this world, you guys. Like there's a longing in this world for connection, for to be seen, to be held, to be heard. And in so many ways, so many people showed up with total strangers, and many, many people walked away feeling those things.
Mm.
You guys, I had a random thing happen to me today. Do you guys know what I believe it's called the Enzo? Have you ever heard of that?
I think I have.
Maybe I'm getting it wrong. It's a circle that's incomplete. It's like a Buddhist thing,
Hmm.
and it's always handwritten. And the reason why it's always handwritten is because it symbolizes imperfection, and so it's a circle that's whole but not complete. That's handwritten and symbolizes imperfection. And the reason I bring it up is because I feel like that was kind of the theme of the night in many ways. It was human beings coming to the table um, imperfectly and having this almost perfect experience together. Um, what I noticed is the vulnerability in the messages would just bring people together, and that's what McCall was just talking about. And um, it was awesome. It was awesome to connect in that way and to hear those messages. McCall, I know you got to get going, right? So you can bounce
Yeah.
whenever you need to, but
Yeah, no, I
Uh,
appreciate that. And I just want to say thank you real quick because when I was going through all of the stuff with my wife and her affair and all of that, like I went through like 5 or 6 therapists trying to find more of this, more things that actually matter. And it took me moving to find it. And so I hope that as we do more and more events and experiences, that people find that courage that they need to come, to sign on to Zoom, to participate, because there is something here that is so hard to explain and articulate if you're not there.
Mm.
And so my hope is just as we move forward with whatever harebrained things Sunrise comes up with,
You guys have it
that
too.
we get that message out to people so that they can actually show up and get that little bit of healing. So thank you guys.
Thank you, McCall. Thanks for being a part of it. Like, what people don't know is the way that things kind of work up here in Logan is Sonny or Chase comes up with these really crazy ideas. He presents them to both me and McCall, and I kind of sit there and try to figure out how to poke holes in all of it. And McCall's already started doing it. And then I have to follow along and tag along. And then we end up putting together some pretty cool things once in a while. But McCall, like your heart and your
We'll
effort,
just say
your
yes.
energy is such a gift. Like, and it's awesome to have you be a part of the team the way that you have been. And thank you for being here with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys.
Thanks, McCall.
Thanks,
You're the
man.
man.
Love you. Bye.
Love you too. Um, I want to speak to something that Chase and I talked about on his episode when he was on with me a couple months back. And Chase has a superpower, and I just want to highlight it. Um, and what that superpower is the courage to follow through. One of the takeaways for me as I was thinking about the whole thing, I was like, he feels it in his soul. He feels called to it, and what he does is listen. And then he doesn't just listen, he then actually moves forward and does it. How many people actually do that, Tyler?
It's a hard recipe to get both. You get someone with a great idea and the other one that can implement, but very few people actually follow through, especially when it gets to that little spot. There's always that pocket of resistance where you're like, oh man, this thing might not be a good idea and it's probably going to fall apart. And like, I don't know what's going to happen. And all the doubts start to set in and all the, man, it sucks to climb that mountain. I don't want to go do that again. But somehow you take one step and you put it in front of the other again and again and again. And you're nailing it, Brandon. That's exactly right.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it blesses the lives of others. And Chase, I believe you're doing God's work. Like that. That's what I believe. And you heed the call, you answer the call, and you did with this event because of all the love that it created.
Yeah. Um, I'm wondering, I don't know how much longer we have here, but I'm wondering a couple of thoughts from you guys. I have a couple of my own, but are there any kind of real, some of the, other than what's already been shared, any kind of real takeaways in terms of the metaphor that was going, or new metaphors that you came up with, or particular instances or experiences that were maybe meaningful to you, but might also be meaningful to anybody else listening that you guys would care to share?
What was really sacred to me was actually the time, in, not trying to dismiss the program that we had, that Signal Fireside. That was wonderful and good. But as soon as we hopped off and said farewell, we'll see you guys in the morning, for me, it felt like I can just be here. Now I can just be here and be with these people that are right around me. And there were some really beautiful um, moments, some that were just pure silly, stupid, and fun and funny and memorable, and like can't wait to just journal about that and bring that up in 20 years as we're sitting around another fire. And then, but some were so moving and sacred, being able to have one-on-one conversations with people from 3 to 4 a.m. and you're sitting on rocks, just shivering, got hot hands in your gloves, and you're just trying to keep warm. Um, Talking about some of the places where you've been wounded, and uh, hey, how did you get through that? Like, hey, this is a struggle I've got with my kids. How did you navigate that? And getting that kind of insight and wisdom from somebody else that's been there. Those moments, that was beautiful and sacred to me as well. Um, we talked about the sunset and how amazing and beautiful that was, but the sunrise the next morning was like the perfect bookend. Um, we had to hike up a little bit further so we could have a better vantage point from where the sun was rising, and there there's some people that are going through some stuff. One of them uh, mentioned that this whole year has just been the longest night for their family. It's been hell. Um, Having someone close to them attempt multiple times suicide, um, going through struggles with really addictive drugs, hardcore drugs, um, and being able to watch them as they're looking for the source of light. Like, where's the sunrise on the horizon? I'm starting to see color, but that's where it's coming up, and that's where I'm going to fix my eyes. Yeah, that was profound. Ty, you mentioned in your message that night something that the three of us have a song that we really enjoy and has been meaningful and symbolic just over this last year. Do you remember that song, and would you care to share anything about why you brought that up?
Yeah, I was probably a little jumbled when I was talking because of what had just happened with my daughters, and I was so overcome with gratitude for the other people that were participating and for the just the goodness of my kids, that I probably didn't explain it very well. But hiking up the mountain, we started hiking in the dark, and it's a I could see headlamps at different places up the mountain, and most of them were coming down from having been there before, and every one of them kind of symbolized this like light to me that I could just keep moving, and I knew where I could go, and I knew there were other people, and just their lights were almost their presence to me. And it made me think of the hymn, the hymn "Brightly Beams Our Father's Mercy," which kind of references this idea that we as human beings get to an opportunity to be the lower lights in support of the lighthouse, and it uses the reference of being on the seas where there's a lighthouse and there's rocks and waves and everything else. And that we get a chance to be the lower lights that burn. And that's something that really struck me as with that hymn is, you know, every one of us kind of is equipped to be our own version of a lower light to somebody else. And every one of us is also in a world where we're not equipped to go it alone. And we need others to be the lower light for us. And I felt so connected to that idea that I'm never going to be the lighthouse, and I'm never going to be so awesome that I don't need anybody else. Like, it's built the way that it is on purpose, that you are a certain recipe of beauty and qualities and traits that you get to shine and reflect certain light into people's lives. And Brannon is that. And everyone listening is that for somebody else. And everybody else is that for you. If we have eyes to see it. And I mean spiritual, open, emotional eyes to see it.
Hmm.
Some poor fainting, struggling seaman, you may rescue, you may save. Um, yeah, that song means a lot to me. And when you shared it, Tyler, like it means a lot, considering just some of the stuff that's gone on in our family. And um but if I can share, my metaphor goes right along with it, if you don't mind. Um, I pulled into Cache Valley driving down to toward the fire, and we look up on the mountain and see a light, and I say, "Oh, there's the fire. There it is." And so I was all excited, and my daughter Sandy's like, "Yeah, look at it up there. Like that's pretty cool." And we keep driving across the valley and keep driving across the valley, and I'm like, "That fire looks weird. Like what the heck?" And I'm like, "That's not the fire. That's a candy cane."
It's
Um,
like a lit up candy cane on the
that's a
mountainside.
candy cane. And my daughter's like, "What? You're crazy, Dad. Like, that's not a candy cane. That's the fire." I'm like, I swear, do you want to bet? Like, that is a candy cane on the mountain. Like, and we get closer and closer, and it sure enough is a candy cane. It's a giant candy cane on the mountain. And I'm like, look. And she looks down the mountain and she sees my candy cane. And she's like, look up. And I look up, and right above the candy cane is the fire. And I kind of laughed, like I was watching the candy cane all the way in. Um, but then it like symbolism wise, it made me realize like they're one and the same. Like you think about, what does a candy cane represent?
The
And what?
shepherds.
Yeah, the shepherds, right? And Christ shepherding us, and making sure that we're safe. Um, and so when I think of the fire that was burning above the candy cane, I think the same thing was happening. We were being shepherded in, just like the song "Brightly Beams Our Father's Mercy." Same thing, right? We were drawn toward that light because, just like you said, Tyler, we're the fainting, struggling seaman that needs rescuing and needs saving, and Christ has us. Christ has us in His flock, and keeps us safe as long as we stay together. So, um, it was pretty cool. I was actually kind of glad I didn't see the light for a while, because it hit me like, oh, hey, it's both, right?
Yeah, it's actually kind of cool that you drew those connections, and I hear another metaphor in that too, Brannon, with just those two words, look up.
Yeah.
Like we thought I had the same experience. I was driving and I was like, I think we just started a forest fire. That thing looks way like too like spread out to be like our fire. And I had somebody else be like, no, look at it. It's there. And I'm like, I know, I see it. Like that's a problem. And they're like, no, Dad, look up. And then all of a sudden I look up the mountain. I didn't even have the template in my brain to consider that the fire was that high.
That high. Yeah.
And yet being able to look up. I think there's so much symbolism in that. Look up to who or what. Look up. Bring your eyes from off of your feet. Step out of shame. Step out of the darkness. Step into the life that you were designed for. Look up. See bigger than maybe you even think you could.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Chase, is there any last things you'd want to share?
I just want to read some wisdom in the Logan 411 Facebook page.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, "Hey, did anybody see the fire?" And then somebody else was like, "I was seeing the same thing too. Glad I'm not the only one." Somebody else said, "I seen it too." Another person said, "I saw it 4 a.m. I was wondering what it was." Saw it 9 p.m. Got off work at 6 a.m. Saw it at home. Wonder what's going on up there. Last person said, "Probably radio tower maintenance." Yeah, that's all it was.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Nothing
Yeah.
significant.
To the rest of the world, it was radio tower maintenance, and to the
Yeah.
people who were there and part of it, it was, for most, I think it was a sacred experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Man. No, I just want to say, man, it is so damn cool working with you guys. And I love um, all this randomness that we're getting into that seems random. But then as we dig and uncover and engage, like just watching these miracles line up one after the next. Even the stuff that appears to be obstacles at first, when we push through and
Yeah.
have that kind of grit about it, get to the other side, it's like, do you see what just happened? Like, I feel it. This is such an important work, like redemption, um, true healing and reclamation of the heart.
Yeah.
Let's keep it up.
Let me ask you some questions, and either one of you can answer. But who is welcome and who is invited to our community?
Since Chase is choked a little bit, our community is for really for any fellow traveler who's striving to climb out of the throes of shame and trauma and wants to live a wholehearted life.
Man,
It's for
woman,
everybody.
yeah,
Man, woman, couples, like whatever. Like
yeah,
that's what was so cool about this event. This was our first event where we actually didn't just have a men's retreat or a women's retreat. This was an event that was like come one, come all. And there
yeah.
was a lot of cool energy to that.
What's a good way for them to learn more, to join the community, to be a part of this?
Reclaimyourheart.org.
Yeah.
Come sign up. It's join the free community and participate in the forums, and you'll get little updates about events and experiences that we're hosting. We've got a couple really awesome things queued up for the first part of this year. Even just looking at some of the planning that we're cooking right now, and it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, reclaimyourheart.org. And you don't have to come buy anything when you come. Like you can get involved, you can learn, you can participate in a lot of the things that we do. And it doesn't cost anything. So um we want you in our community if you're the type of person that would enjoy a lot of the stuff that we talked about today. So
Even if you don't enjoy it, but you're willing to do it.
yeah.
If you somehow find meaning in suffering up a mountain to suffer all night in front of a fire for the sake of some kind of a cause. And I believe me when I say this, everyone hears that and goes like, who'd want to do that? But there are a lot of people right now going, I will.
Yeah.
I will. And that's what we want. We want people who want to step into lives where they're not living according to fear anymore. They're living according to possibilities and hope and complete authenticity.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. And I love working with you guys too. And if this was helpful for anybody, or if you just felt something in your heart and you feel like maybe you're already a part of this community, but you feel like there's someone else out there that could use this, please share it. And until next time, keep on keeping on.